What's going on? This is Bobby J. This is City Chapters Podcast. Today I'm with Kristen Speller, the owner of the Garland Sandwich Shoppe. She's here to talk to us about that business, another business idea that she has, and just her, her life through fitness and some other physical hardships that she faced. So we're going to get into it. Welcome to City Chapters Podcast.
Thank you.
How did you come to own the Garland Sandwich Shoppe?
It's kind of an interesting story. So I moved back from Arizona in 2008. Got a job as an instructor, actually, a culinary instructor for a local nonprofit that was, we'll say, faith-based. So all my direct bosses were nuns, priests, very, very Catholic. Loved that job. I was teaching women how to work in restaurants, how to apply, how to do all those things to get them jobs. And all these women had a lot of barriers to employment. So most had just come out of homelessness or domestic violence situations and just needed help starting their lives. Great job. I didn't get along with the nuns so well. So they gave me an option. They gave me choice. I can either stay and do things their way, or I could be gone. And I chose to be gone. And at that time, there was a building available in Garland, and I shit you not, the sign said sandwiches. And my mother's husband's best friend's ex-girlfriend's daughter, like 7 degrees of separation. She had had a sandwich shop there 2 years prior. And it was still sitting empty. And my mom's like, yep, you're going to have a sandwich shop. I was like, I don't want to open a business. She's like, no, you're going to do it. And we were open within 3 weeks. So it was that easy because I didn't have a job. So I had time to figure it out. And I just took recipes from previous jobs and kind of twisted them around a little bit, threw together a menu. And yeah, we were open within 3 weeks, and that was 2008, I believe. And here we are.
2008.
Still slinging Sangies.
Yeah. So
Just the other day.
Your mom encouraged you to open a business. Is she a previous entrepreneur, business owner?
She worked for the phone company for almost 40 years. That's all she did from time her early 20s to retirement. And yeah, she was not an entrepreneur. She just knew I liked food and knew I'm a really good line cook. Said, nope, you're going to do this now. And I was really lucky that she worked for free for me for the first 3 years. She ran the cash register. And her husband did the same on his days off before he retired. So I didn't have a paid employee for the first 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Just me and my mama. And it was great. I just got to spend all day with her. But we get along really well. And people started to see it being a family-run establishment. She is fully retired now, her and her husband, living it up out in 9 Mile, but it was great to have her there. So it was, yeah, people still ask where she is. She's alive, she's well, she just doesn't want to work anymore. I love that lady. She's a good lady.
That's
now she just
awesome.
makes quilts all the time.
Yeah.
If you need a quilt, she'll make you a quilt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Need a quilt.
Kathy's always making quilts. Everyone.
Kathy's quilting.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have 30 of them. There's one on every chair. There's 13 in storage right now. She just likes to make them. And I can't say no. It's a quilt from your mom.
Yeah.
Who says no to a handmade quilt?
Yeah, you can't do that. That'd be really, really messed up.
I smack a kid who said no to my mom.
Yeah, for sure.
I smack anyone who's mean to my mom, though. But
Yeah, well, that's just how it goes.
yeah, she's a good lady.
Yeah, you can't reject a quilt.
No.
You take that.
I mean, she makes them for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a quilt for my dogs that has my dog's photos on them.
Nice.
Yeah. She's a good lady.
Sounds like it. Sounds like she's a really good lady. So, I mean, for her to encourage you to open a business and her not being a entrepreneur, what do you think inspired her to do that for you or to push you into owning a business?
Excuse me. Her husband, Frank, he had his own Italian restaurant in Missouri. So he was a guiding factor in that. Well, he helped me out a lot, even though he wasn't familiar with Spokane's rules and regulations. Excuse me. He was very helpful in all of that. And I think she just wanted me to succeed. And I mean, what good mom doesn't?
Yeah.
And we started with no
a lot
loans
of
or anything.
parents are like apprehensive about business typically. Like they, especially if they're not business owners themselves. Usually business owners can encourage another kid more likely to own their own business than people that don't own business, because the safe route is owning a business is risky. It's hard. There's no guarantees. There's all this risk factor that comes with it.
And now that I think about it, almost every single one of her siblings owned a business locally, like an engine shop, a bar at State Line, like almost everyone in our family, another bar over here on Division, I mean, 40, 50 years ago, but all of her siblings were entrepreneurs at some point in time, owning a small business.
There we go. That makes more sense then. So she comes from a family of entrepreneurs.
Honestly, there wasn't a lot of risk involved. I mean, there's risk, obviously, but I did not take out a loan. I didn't do any of that. My father had just died, and I think I got $1,200 or $1,400 my mom gave me from his life insurance, and that's what we bought the equipment with, and then we were just up and running. Everything else came from, I think I was on unemployment for maybe 2 weeks in between.
And that was from moving from Arizona to back here to opening the shop, or? Yeah,
so Arizona to here, and then right when I got back, the first day I got back, I went down to Northern Lights, which is now No Lie, the previous owners, and I immediately went back to work for them because I had worked for them 5 years prior to moving to Arizona. And so I worked part-time there while working at the nonprofit. When I lost that job, I stayed part-time in Northern Lights and started the sandwich shop. So I had a little bit of income coming in, and that was enough to pay all my bills. And then I just took that little bit of money from my father's life insurance and bought the equipment. And luckily, the food rep I had back then, it was FSA, now it's US Foods. I had worked with him at several previous restaurants, and he was just perfect mentor to open. Chris Patterson, he was just great. He's now some kind of coach. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's not in food sales anymore. He's doing some kind of consulting for restaurants. Yeah, I had a good mentor. I definitely consider him a mentor over these years. I still chat with him every once in a while, but yeah.
What is the Garland Sandwich Shop famous for?
The Big Dill.
The Big Dill.
And you got to see one and smell one.
Yeah,
you got
Brennan
to taste
tasted
one.
the Big Dill. Oh,
did you just give a thumbs up?
I was gonna say it's very delicious, and you don't even notice that the bread's not there. It's just a really good bite every time.
Do you still have one over there? Do you have a bite?
I have I have a half of a sandwich left. Yeah.
I so want you to take a bite right into the
bite
mic.
it into
Can Bobby do it on the camera? I think that'd be better.
There we go. I'm gonna taste the Big Dill on camera, people.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. I had the Chipotle, the sirloin chip. Yeah, or double fist. We were talking a lot about fisting. Anyway, we're going to get into the Big Dill. This is going to be a great soundbite.
Oh, she drippy.
That was interesting.
How do you feel about that? Other than interesting. Is you had a panini earlier.
No, it's
this place is going to smell like a pickle for a year now.
The panini was really good, but I love pickles, and it's got a good substantial amount of meat in there. It's got a lot of flavor.
It's a handful.
It's got a lot of flavor.
It's pretty delicious.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Delicious. But yeah, so thank you, Brennan, for letting me bite your Big Dill. What?
Oh, sir. Stop. So yeah, that started as a joke.
Yeah, it still is.
Joke that pays the bills, though.
Yep.
So you can't be mad at that. A lot of people call me the pickle lady. I take it with stride because, again, it pays the bills. But Again, to my parents, my stepdad, he came up with the idea. We posted it on social media and it just went crazy. So we did that. We rode that wave for a while.
It went like viral, right, or something?
Yeah,
of
we
that
had
nature?
almost 1 million views within a few weeks.
Wow.
Across at that time it was just Facebook. We weren't messing with Instagram at that point. I think I went on all the news stations, the 3 locals, and I did 3 radio stations all in one day because I came out with it. I think I announced it. It was 2017. I want to say it was like August-ish, maybe September, and then National Pickle Day came up. So that's when all the news people came out. And that day was crazy because I did 3 news things, whatever segments, and then 3 radio shows, all in the same building, the radio shows. And I got back to the shop at like 9. We opened at 10, and we already had 200 people lined up. And I think we sold like 1,000 of those that day.
Whoa.
It was insane. And because it was National Pickle Day, we did a bunch of other stuff. We had like dill pickle potato chips. I think we did soup as well, dill pickle ice cream. And then every year I've added to it. So we did gummy bears once, jerky. That was another one. People still request that. I feel like there was another weird something in there with pickles. Oh, dill pickle cotton candy.
Whoa.
No.
Yeah, that's
It was gross.
yeah.
Disgusting.
That's
People bought it, but it's one of those things like you just have to try it. But I don't like
Yeah.
sweet pickles, so it just tasted like a sweet pickle that just melts in your mouth. It's not for me. Not one bit. Yeah, we've been riding that wave for quite a while now.
So the Big Dill came out in 2017, and then that kind of. Do you feel like? How do you feel like your shop was before and then after that release of that? Like, was that like a changing point in your business, or how do you think it's affected your business overall?
I think it put us more on the map for sure.
Right.
Some of those clips that people posted got picked up by national news outlets on social media, for lack of a better term.
That's
I mean,
cool.
we had people that would
That's
drive
awesome.
in from Montana.
Wow.
Or people that would have a layover in Spokane and take an Uber up to buy it.
Whoa.
So
That's
it was
really cool.
It was quite the thing. It got to a point to where I changed my business structure from just a sole prop to an LLC because I was like, things are happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to change things up a little bit. At that point, I did have at least 1 employee. Now I have 2. Kind of rode that way for 2-3 years, and then the shutdowns started to happen. So that was a whole other issue we dealt with. We being me, because I did it alone. But it was good. It was good.
How did you navigate COVID in those times?
It was easy. To be honest, it was easy. I initially, like everybody else, thought it was going to be 2 weeks. I never shut down. I didn't. I just stayed
You
working.
pulled the Smackies, huh?
I stayed. What is this? Pulled the Smackies.
Smackies on Broadway.
What did they do?
You know about that sandwich shop, right? Yeah, they just never closed either.
I never closed. I didn't have
Yeah.
to.
They when they literally just kept serving people in their inside and
So I
letting
did.
people hang out. And,
I did pivot.
yeah.
I mean, there were a few people I let eat in that I knew and that were out working all day, so they didn't have an option. Like,
Yeah.
they come in, they eat here, they go sit in their truck. But I kind of pivoted. So when I heard the shutdowns were going to happen, especially the schools were going to be shut down, I heard about that a week or so before it actually happened. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get on this. So I made a post, and as soon as they announced it, I announced free, kids eat free. You buy something for an adult, kid eats free. You get a sandwich and chips for free. That was a whole other ball game. I've never been drugged through the mud so much for trying to be nice.
Why? What was like the
I had-
feedback and problem? That
I
you
had a
were getting?
lot of people come through that were like, well, I have 3 children. Okay. Well, I should get 3 sandwiches. I'm like, ma'am, I can't do that. That's not the policy. And she's like, so I have to decide which of my 3 children get to eat? And I'm like, that's not my responsibility.
Wow.
Like, you disperse what you want, but like I can't
Buy
feed
3
everybody
adult
for
sandwiches,
free. Yeah.
and you can get 3 kid sandwiches.
Well, I don't have the money. Well, I'm running a business. Like, I'm trying to be nice, but and then when the shutdowns really started happening and all the supply chains were altered, interrupted, whatever, that's when I started doing Facebook Lives every day. Because I could still get bread on a commercial level and meat, cheese, milk, all these things that you couldn't get in stores. I also could get sanitizer, masks, gloves, toilet paper, all those things at a commercial level that normal people couldn't get. So I started making sandwich make bags for, I think at the time they were $19. And that came with like 2 pounds of meat, a pound of cheese, lettuce, tomato, pickle, mayo, mustard, and a full loaf of bread. So it was enough to make like 8 sandwiches for $20. And those sold like crazy. And then every day doing the videos, I would say what I had in. I just turned my dining room, it's small. I mean, you've been in, it's what, 10 by 15? I pushed all the tables to the edge, put up shelves, and had things for people to buy. So it was essentially a mini mart. You needed toilet paper, I had toilet paper. You needed paper towels. A few police officers actually came in because they couldn't get rubber gloves anywhere. So I was able to get them vinyl and latex gloves at cost. I had a few shelters come in who needed bleach to sanitize the shelters. I was able to get them those things. And people really responded to that because I wasn't charging people more than what I paid for it. I wasn't trying to make a profit off of, officers needing gloves or needing masks.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with people. So there would be people coming in, buying one sandwich and giving me $100 bill and saying, keep the change. Thank you for being here. Because I was working by myself at that point, 5 days a week. And so COVID really wasn't that hard for me. It was kind of nice working alone, to be honest. I'm super introverted. So being forced to stay home after work and just order Uber Eats, it's like my dream. I just get to sit there and support local business by ordering food to get delivered. I'm here for it. And then, just 4 years later, here we are.
4 years later. Yeah.
Doesn't feel like 4 years, does it?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's gone by quick.
Some of those COVID babies are going to be starting like preschool this year. Little Rona is going to be in kindergarten next year.
The Corona generation.
Wonder what their names are going to be.
Little Roans. It sounds like you did really well during that time and were able to pivot and do something during that time without trying to make it. There was so much going on during that time of people acting like they were trying to do great things for people, but it was all about publicity and all about making money and a whole lot of bullshit like that.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And we didn't, meaning I.
Yeah.
We were only open 4 days a week, or 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, and that was more than enough. Did pretty well. And then I finally got some of the COVID grants came in. I didn't get a lot, but it was enough to pay off some back tax debt. And so, COVID was not bad to me. I mean, I gained a little bit of weight, but that's a whole other story. But again, I wasn't trying to lose weight back then. That was a whole other part of my life.
Yeah.
Sitting home and eating.
So how have things progressed for you since COVID's ended until now? Like, how do you feel business is going overall with post-COVID?
We're now hitting the normal, I like to say, what is it, BC, before COVID? The cycles of normal restaurants now. Like, we're really slow right now around the holidays, coming out of that.
Yeah.
Picking back up with spring coming around, but it's kind of back to normal.
Yeah,
to be
good.
honest.
Good.
Same. I mean, we still have most of the same regulars. Some of our regulars have been there since day one. So we have that steady crowd every week, and they're great. Love my customers.
Yeah, I used to live right next to where your shop is, like literally like right next to it. And, you know, it's funny, full circle, that I come back to meet you again, because I only knew you from going in the shop. I didn't really know you. I just ordered a few sandwiches while I lived up there. And now, you know, all this time later.
And I reached out to you because you had Trent from Trailbreaker on.
Yep, shout out Trent.
Yeah, we love me some Trent. Because I worked there part-time up until recently.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I started there in 2020, like 5 weeks before COVID hit.
Yeah.
So I worked for 5 weeks, and then we were out for months, worked a few months, shut down again, worked a few more months, and then I had surgery, so I was out for like 6 or 8 months, worked a few more months, and then I just took a break in August of last year.
What was the sandwich shop doing during the time you were working at Trailbreaker? Did you
So I worked
close
there
it for
at
a
night.
little bit? Oh, at night.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were working there.
Both.
And then going to Trailbreaker.
Which was so nice because I know Liberty Lake isn't that far, but I like the drive to and from. And sometimes it's nice not to be the boss.
Yeah.
Like, my brain is always on at the shop. I always have to worry about everything. But sometimes it's just really nice being an employee.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about anything. Like, I have these things to get done. I leave at this time. And I kind of miss those days of just
Yeah.
not
I have
being
a
the
part-time
boss.
job right now at the Great P&W store. So shout out Joel for, you know, hooking me up with a part-time job. And it's just, I just needed something different this year while I'm figuring out some things with my business, and being able to just show up and work it is nice. You know, there's aspects that, you know, I like. I know it's not for me long term, but for the time being,
Right.
it's refreshing for now, you know, and it's helping me get back on track in a different way than I was able to do just trying to plug along with figuring out these business models that I'm working on. So
Sometimes you just have to work.
yeah.
And it clears your mind, and it kind of resets everything, even if it's working retail or whatever.
Yeah.
What do they say? Idle hands, something, hands busy,
Yeah.
devil. I don't know. Anyone know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But it is, like, for me, working a retail store owned by a local clothing brand has been good for me, because it's like, it's education if I ever want to open up one
Right.
for city chapters.
So it's interesting you say that, because that's exactly how I saw working for that nonprofit, because I opened a cafe for them. So I had not unlimited money, but a good amount of money to open a cafe for them and learn how to do it. So if anything, I'm very grateful for them allowing me to learn while getting paid and able to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So, which is really weird, because I'm going to a fundraiser for that organization tomorrow at 9 with a drag show. And they didn't like me because back then I had like a faux hawk. It was like flock of seagulls, like short sides, blonde, black roots. And they didn't like my hair. They thought it was a little too out there. But now they're doing a drag show as a fundraiser.
So the nuns are hosting a drag show?
From what, okay, so I mean, yes. From what I
Hey,
understand.
these nuns are sounding like some wild nuns.
The ones I worked for, they were conservative, but there were some questionable things going, like tequila.
Oh.
Like, those nuns love
Nuns
tequila.
and tequila.
Like, what is going on? They
Yeah,
get a
there's
little
something
crazy.
about monks and nuns. They be brewing up some hard stuff, you know.
What do they do to let loose, though? That's my question.
We'll never know. They hide it so well.
What are they doing under those habits?
Until it, you know.
I don't know. I'm going to ask them tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a few shots in me down at 9.
They've had, yeah. Oh, boy. It's
Luckily,
going down.
the people I worked for there were old as dirt when I worked for them. And that was over 15 years ago. From my understanding, most of them are no longer with us.
Yeah.
So I don't think I need to worry about
So
running
the new
into them.
generation of nuns, they like to
hope so.
party a little bit. Yeah.
It's kind of like I envision it like Sister Act.
Yeah.
So you have like all the super old conservative nuns,
Yeah.
and then like Whoopi Goldberg coming in.
For sure.
Like that's what I see. I guess I'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd go to a drag show hosted by nuns, but
I'm
Here we
actually
are.
interested.
do you want to go?
I might.
You need to. So you need to bring something. It's called Mardi Bras.
Mardi Bras.
Mardi Bras, and it starts at 7, and they're asking for donations of like women's underwear, socks, tampons. Just go buy a case of tampons. They'll let you right in. I need to go do that tomorrow. Actually, get some kind of donation. Mm-hmm. It is I joke about that organization, but they do a lot of good work. They really do. I remember my mother, because she worked downtown for most of her career, working across the street from one of their, there were offices in it, but it was basically a drop-in center for women. And my mom volunteered there most of my life. So they do really good work. I give them shit because the nuns are nuns.
Nuns are nuns.
But they do good work. And from what I understand, they've kind of changed their ways. They're a little more progressive now.
Well, it sounds like it.
They'd let
yeah.
me have my
Sounds-
mohawk back then.
Yeah.
That I had back then.
Yeah.
I should do that
I
again.
think that'd be the least of their worries if they're hosting drag shows now. So
I'm so excited to see what's going to go down tomorrow. I'm so excited. I don't think there's going to be anyone I'll know, but
yeah.
I'm going to go.
What are some of the, I guess, critical lessons you feel you've learned from being a business owner?
Oh.
Like within business, within building yourself, like what are some things that you think have kind of formed you into who you are now by owning this business?
Oh, that's a deep one. That's a good question. Why didn't you tell me that before? I could have set something up. Oh, that's a good question. I think as being a business owner, it teaches you, and you have to be flexible. You have to learn how to pivot. You have to learn to switch things up to make it work. Being a restaurant owner, especially because mine is technically quick service, it's counter service, most of your employees are going to be younger. They're going to be teenagers, early 20s. You kind of have to learn how to deal with them, for lack of a better term. You have to learn how to communicate with a completely different generation. They have different ideas of work ethic. They have a different idea of what being on time means, what appropriate things to wear is. I don't battle with any of that with my current staff. I have 2 girls now, 2 employees, and they're amazing. They're great. We're a little family. But I think you have to really learn how to communicate better. Because it's not like it was 20 years ago where you just do what your boss says. It's
Yeah.
not how it is anymore.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I never had kids or anything, so having younger employees I feel like I've really taken on kind of that maternal role for a lot of them. And it's fun. I like it. You have to learn how to have a thick skin too. Because people are brutal with reviews and stuff like that. And half the jokes I think are funny you can't say in public. 'Cause you're going to get canceled. People are going to pick it out front. But it's fun. Either way, it's good. I don't know that I've changed that much since being a business owner. Maybe I multitask better now. Pay my taxes on time most of the time. But I don't know that it's really changed me that much, to be honest. Is that the question you asked?
Yeah.
Ish.
No, it's good. Yeah.
Close enough?
Yeah, close enough. I mean, it is you can answer however you feel, and so had there been times where you wanted to quit the business? Have
Oh,
you
yeah.
ever- yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that actually was the plan 2019-ish leading into 2020 is I was bored. And so I kind of put the place put the rumor out there that it was up for sale. And then someone who worked at Trailbreaker, who I had worked with at Northern Lights 10, 12 years prior, said, hey, we need a line cook. And then I went and talked to Trent, and they hired me. And the whole idea was to sell my shop and work for him full time because I was done being a business owner. And then COVID hit. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. We'll figure this out. We'll just put that on the back burner for now. And now 4 years later, I'm still loving it.
So because COVID hit, you weren't able to work at Trailbreaker, which meant like, okay, well, I got to keep the sandwich shop going.
Yeah, got to figure it out.
Yeah.
I had no other option at that point because we didn't get unemployment for being business owners. So
yeah, you only got the SBA loans or the, you know, some of those grants.
In which I'm paying at least one of those back. There was an error in the paperwork.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad about it.
It was a good deal for me, though.
Yeah. And the interest rate on them
Yeah,
so
the interest
low.
rate was great. That's
with inflation, it's kind of free money.
Yeah.
I'm paying it back, but
Yeah.
it wasn't hard for me at all. But it made me focus back on the business to learn how to run it again, which is great. And then I really do feel like we gained, and again, when I say we, I mean me, the business,
Yeah.
a whole different following because I stayed open. I think people looked at me differently in a positive way. Like, oh, she's in it to win it. She's not shutting down. Because I could have. So many places took it as an opportunity to close down, take a vacation, take some grant money. Woe is me. I'm going to take some time off. And I was like, I can't do that. I don't have any other money coming in. So
Is your like biggest customer base in the Garland district, like people that live in that area? Do you know your...
prior to 2020, I would say yes. Probably within a 1 to 3 mile radius. Now with all of the different food apps, I mean, that's 45% of my business every day. Crazy amount.
Wow.
So, I don't know where most of them are at, but that's a huge chunk of my business, which has been really good, but they take so much. But that, again, kept me afloat during COVID, is the delivery apps. And that gave people an opportunity to still support me without having to leave their house. And I did the same thing with lots of places. That's all I did was order food in when I wasn't working. Sometimes I order food to the shop because I don't want sandwiches.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not a sandwich girl. I know that's weird, but except a good old PB&J. Like, that's a little different.
PB&Js are solid.
I'm all about the Uncrustables right now. Like, I don't know, I could just make my own. But there's something about an Uncrustable.
So back on like during this time, I'm assuming just from being a business owner myself, multiple times where you want to quit owning a business or doing what you're doing. What, like, let's just say the last time before you went to Trailbreaker, what were some of the reasons that you felt like you just didn't want to own a business anymore or do this sandwich shop thing?
I don't think that the city and this state make it easy for small business owners. I think we are nickel and dimed. Is that the term, nickel and dimed?
Yeah.
To an extreme. And then minimum wage keeps going up. The cost of everything is going up. And it's like, I love my customers and I want them to keep coming in. So I don't want to raise my prices, but where do I draw the line? Because I need to pay my employees more than minimum wage because they're worth more than that. I can't afford to give them benefits, so I want to be able to give them more money. And I like to say they get other benefits. Like, I don't really have a uniform standard. I mean, there's a standard, but there's no like actual uniform.
Right.
We get to have fun all day. They get to eat, all that stuff. We just have a lot of
Getting
fun.
free food is a pretty big deal nowadays. Like being able to eat where you work, if it's at a restaurant, I mean, that saves a lot of money. I mean, yeah, you got maybe, same kind of thing, but ultimately, like, right now,
Food's
it's hard to.
expensive.
Food's expensive right now. It's
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
But yeah, they nickel and dime me for all of that. And then, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Did you catch that? Brain fart. But it's just so expensive to be able to do it. And there's so many rules and regulations that do I raise my prices and do I push out customers? Or do I keep them the same and pay myself less and get a second job to make ends meet?
I mean, that's a good question. I think personally,
Like, how much can your personal market bear? And what I'm seeing is exactly what you said to me when I got here. And you looked at my menu. What did you say?
it's cheap.
Yeah. Because I want to keep people coming in, but at what point? I got to pay my bills.
I mean,
got a mortgage.
Even if you raised your prices like $3, it'd still be cheap though.
You think
like
so?
Income,
Which seems crazy
like
to me.
$12 for a sandwich instead of, I mean, $12.99 for a sandwich right now. Like that's cheap still.
Where am I eating?
Because you could raise your prices for sure, without a question. And I don't think your customers are gonna bat an eye. Like most of
No?
them are gonna probably be very supportive. Like I get it. Like, find that middle ground. That's what I would recommend. I mean,
So I
ultimately,
used to try to keep it under $10 for a full meal. And now it's about $10 for a sandwich and a side.
unless you take the route where you just ramp up your sales by marketing that you have affordable, great sandwiches, and then you're just doing way more numbers to account
Right.
for doing less. You know what I'm saying?
Quantity.
Like, but is that the route you'd want to take? I think you should just, even so, like I'm saying, like $12.99 for a sandwich right now. Like most people are like, damn, that's nice.
That is crazy. Do I not eat out enough?
I guess not. You say you don't ever go out.
I mean, I order Uber Eats a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
you
gonna
expect
lie.
that to be
so I'm expecting
expensive.
to be expensive because I don't want to put pants on and leave the house.
Yeah, you expect that to be expensive though, and with all the fees and everything that come
Yeah,
with
because
it.
I just get my food delivered once a week. Like I just get.
yeah, like
pre-made-
Instacart or you just do
No, I do like Factor, like pre-made
like
meals.
meal prep stuff. Yeah,
Because I'm awful. Like I went to culinary school and I order essentially TV dinners.
yeah, but they're probably. A little
I mean, they're not
nicer.
frozen,
Yeah,
but they're still TV dinners. They're
Do you
delicious.
like it's Factor? I haven't heard of that one. You
It's
like
really
them?
good. So it's
Yeah.
interesting because it comes through when it's billed and stuff. It actually says HelloFresh. So I think it's the same company.
Yeah,
So you have HelloFresh where they send you the ingredients and you make it. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
But Factor
every
is
day.
like individual meals.
Yeah.
And most of the
I like
people
that.
I know that don't want to meal prep because
It's like where can you find that medium where it's like it's
Factor's
decent, good food that's ready to just
it's real. It's like 3 minutes in the microwave. You
just a
peel
little
a
zap,
plastic
just
bag.
a little zap. It'd be all right.
I'll
little
give you
molecule
a
shift,
code.
you know?
You get free box on me.
What?
Yeah, I got you.
Damn.
But
That'd be
once you
cool.
put in your email,
It's gonna be
you better give me a spam email though. That way, because they'll hit you up a lot trying to get you to reload.
yeah.
But it's worth it until you see those UPS drivers hucking that shit across the
Dude,
lawn.
you face some serious health complications, and
I did, kind of. I didn't even know there was an issue. I was just always kind of chubby, kind of always looked like I was a few months pregnant. I just thought I was fat and lazy. Like,
when did this start? Like, when did you feel
I didn't
something was
notice anything was wrong until like 2020. Went in for like normal female checkup stuff, and they're like, "Oh, there's something here." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's figure that out." So naturally, you have to go and get ultrasounds and all that. And this is June of 2020, so we're in the heat of shutdowns. So that takes months to get ultrasounds and not only get those, but then have someone review it and blah, 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 and then get back into the doctor. And it turns out I had like 12 or 13 fibroids.
fibroids?
Fibroids, just basically a massive tissue in your uterus. It doesn't necessarily cause health issues, but it can. They can burst. They're super uncomfortable. They're just a ball of tissue. They're not cancer, anything like that. And so I went, and they're like, all right, well, you're going to need these removed. But they have essentially taken over your entire reproductive system. I was like, okay, so what do we do? And they're like, well, it's not life-threatening yet, so we're going to have to wait until after the shutdowns. And at that point, when he was diagnosed and it was found out, it could have been done laparoscopically. By the time I finally got the surgery, which was in March of 2022, one had grown to 9 pounds. So I'm talking solid mass.
Damn.
And so I had to
That's huge.
Yeah, it was massive. And you could like see it through my stomach. You could feel it. It was incredible. Because at that time I was doing physical therapy for a car wreck that had happened right at the beginning of COVID. And so had this, they told
And
me.
you were out here just saying like, oh, COVID wasn't even that hard. It wasn't even that bad. You got in a car wreck.
That was right before
you-
COVID, technically. Someone
car
ran a
wreck
red
was?
light. Yeah.
Okay.
And we T-boned them going like 40. And so I was in PT for that up through the beginning of COVID. And then when they found all this stuff out, and when the doctor told me I needed a hysterectomy, I was like, oh, I was okay with it. And then I got out to my car and I was just a mess. I just broke down, just disgusting, ugly cry in my car alone. Because I never wanted kids per se. I was open to the idea, but the fact that someone just said, no, you can't do this.
Yeah, now that it's totally gone,
Yeah,
the
I
option's
lost my
gone.
shit. And so I sat with that for like a year until the surgery. And then
So just to clarify, what was the term you used for the surgery?
It was
started with the H?
open abdominal total hysterectomy.
Hysterectomy. Which, for the people that don't know, I think that I've heard the term, but that basically means
Your uterus is removed, is a
Your uterus is
hysterectomy. And then
removed.
there's
Okay.
different levels of that.
Right.
So I had a total hysterectomy with tube removal. So uterus, both upper and lower, and both fallopian tubes.
wow.
So, yeah, everything. But I still have ovaries, healthy ovaries. So no early menopause or anything like that. Which is great. I don't ever have to worry about female problems again. It's great. Yeah. But it was a major surgery, and the only surgery I've ever had in my entire life, mind you. I've never been in a hospital. I cut my finger off when I was, this middle finger, when I was in the 2nd grade, and I didn't even go to the hospital for that. Like, family doctor just sewed it back on. So I've never been, excuse me, in the hospital for anything. But yeah.
How far down did you cut your finger off?
I mean, you can see it right there. There's no bone in the tip.
Oh, shit.
In a door. At a waffle place.
Dang.
And we had to pay for our breakfast before
Still?
I drove to the hospital or to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
I didn't even get free fucking waffles.
That's insane.
Bullshit. It's bullshit. They're no longer in business anymore. It's like a sushi place now. Maybe it's a pho place. I don't know. But yeah, never been admitted to the hospital. And now I have to have full-on surgery during COVID, so that's fun. And that was scheduled February 12th of 22. My brother lives in Utah. He's going to fly up. It's going to be this whole thing. It was on a Tuesday. That Monday, I had to go in for official like COVID testing. I have COVID. So they had to postpone it for a week or for a month. Yeah. And I had hired someone to work my sandwich shop for the 6 weeks I was supposed to be out. And she quit the day before surgery, the day I found out I had COVID. So it actually worked out because I didn't have anyone to run the shop. I would have just had to close it for 6 weeks. So it's actually lucky that I got COVID because I took that week off. And then I was able to hire someone to run the shop to make the food while I was gone. So it actually worked out really well. She's still with me 2 years later. She just hit her 2-year mark last month. So it was a lot. It was a lot. But surgery was actually incredibly easy. Believe it or not. I couldn't find a lot of information on YouTube or anything like that. Like, no one really talks about it. It's really weird. And it's so common, but nobody talks about it.
Really?
Like, how major of a surgery it is. But, like, I went in, got it done. Took, like, 2-3 hours. I woke up yelling for coffee. So they're like, what do you want? I was like, coffee. And so they ended up calling my mom, and she, like, brought me coffee, and I was there for, like, 12 hours. Sent home. No pain meds, anything.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, within an hour of waking up, and I remember this, I stood up and detached everything and was walking around, and they came in and freaked out because I was just walking around in my diaper because, they put you in a diaper essentially. Like, how did you get out? And I was like, I just got out of the bed.
Yeah.
So, I went home within like 24 hours and showed up at my work the same day they released me. My brother, I was like, drive me to the shop. I showed up there like waddling in a diaper. My employees are like, what are you doing? And I was like, I miss you guys.
Legitimate question.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So I just wanted to see you guys.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, I was probably still
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
The morphine or whatever was.
And then I just I just sat there for a week at home watching all of Peaky Blinders.
Oh.
That's all I did.
I love Peaky Blinders.
But I never.
After the surgery, I mean, you didn't have like any major complications?
None whatsoever.
Like, just kind of went about your way and
Yeah, within 2 weeks I was back to work.
and it's just been smooth sailing ever since, like as far as all
Like
that
health
goes.
wise, yeah.
Yeah.
It was totally fine. That was March of 2022 ish, and I was just packing on those pounds from COVID. Gosh, I think I was up to almost 170 pounds. And
Post surgery and everything, so
post-surgery,
you're
yeah. And
eating a
that's-
lot after the
and that's
surgery.
removing 10 pounds of innards.
Yeah.
Like I had an automatic weight loss, and I was fat. Like I was fat. And then I just kind of got sick of it, and I wanted to start working out. And so I took that time. I wasn't cleared to lift anything until, it was 3-4 months. So that put me right around, I don't know, what's 3 plus 4, 7, July-ish. And so I started looking at personal trainers because I didn't know where to start. Like I didn't know where to start. I've never worked out a day in my life. I wanted a normal human trainer. I didn't want, for a lack of a better term, I didn't want a meathead. I didn't want a bodybuilder. I didn't want a power lifter. I didn't want any of that. And I found this wonderful woman. Her name is Karen, which was great because when the workouts were hard, I could just fucking Karen. She was total.
That's my mama's name.
Oh, shit. I bet she's lovely.
She is lovely.
Because that generation, my aunt's named Karen, and she's a lovely woman as well.
I know.
She does not listen to podcasts, so she will never hear this, but she's my favorite aunt, too.
Yeah, my mom.
She might be my only aunt, but
Yeah.
she's a good lady.
Yeah.
So I started working out with her in a not private gym, but private gym membership only. And I loved her. I still love her. She's still a good friend because
What gym was this?
hardcore.
Hardcore.
She was
yeah.
at the time the manager there and a personal trainer. And she also has her own catering business. She's the baker at, I think, Maryhill Winery. And then her husband has his own meal prep service. And her whole world has been food and
Do you
baking.
know her husband's name?
Tracy,
Okay.
I think.
Not the same guy I was thinking of. Cool.
I can look it up for you. I think it's Tracy.
Yeah.
I think it's Tracy. And so I contacted her, and it took me like 2 months to pull the trigger because I was like, I just don't want to go to the gym. I don't want people to look at me. And hardcore is pretty hardcore of a gym. It's a lot of classic bodybuilders. People who go there don't fuck around. It's
Yeah.
not like Planet
hardcore.
Fitness or Move. It's fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce, he has a great gym. There's no amenities, which I actually kind of like. There's like no showers. There's not a juice bar, any of that shit. It's just super basic.
Yeah.
Some old school equipment you don't find a lot of places. But everybody keeps to themselves, which is great. And so I started with Karen, and I went like at 5 a.m. because I didn't want anyone to see me. Because I was a bigger girl. And eventually I worked with her for 3 months, and then I went on my own. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. And randomly, a guy on Instagram, shout out to Brian at Get After Fit, he reached out. I have no idea how he even found me. And he's like, do you have a coach? And I was like, no, I just really don't want to. And he's like, I'll train you. So some guy in San Francisco, he's become a close friend now, has been training me for 7 months, and I'm down to almost 20% body fat just on my own. I train 5 days a week. Not this week. I have a rest week, but yeah, I kind of love it. It's my thing now. People tell me I'm boring because all my social media is like fitness inspired now, and it's no longer like funny fat girl jokes or funny I'm single with a bunch of dogs jokes or eating sushi without any pants on jokes. Apparently I'm boring now because I just work out and watch trash reality TV. But I like it.
So, sounds like the surgery definitely sparked a kind of resurgence of you getting your life more to where you wanted it
This is
to
my
be.
health side of it, yeah.
Your health side, yeah.
Everything else is pretty good in my world. But yeah, I was tired I was really tired of relying on like witty banter. But so I had to get in shape and somewhat care what I look like. Because I just kind of gave up, I think, for many years. And I just relied on being kind of funny, and owning a sandwich shop is my identity. And then I realized I got to figure something else out. I got to do something for me.
Which those are good things, you know, being funny, being a business owner, like, you know, I think for a lot of people, it's easy to be overweight. It's not hard to it's that easily happens to people.
There aren't even a lot of photos of me from like clavicles down. And I wasn't huge by any means. At the heaviest, I think in 2022, I was 170 pounds. I'm at like 135 right now or something like that. I thought I felt fine. And then, but at that time also, anyone who knows me, knows my family, I would drink like 6 to 8 Mountain Dews a day. Just water. That's all I drank. Loved it. There's photos of me like 5 years old holding like a 2 liter. Like, I don't know how I still have my own teeth. The amount of Mountain Dew I just drank as a child. That's all I drank. In my teenage year, especially working in restaurants and you have it on tap, I don't know how I'm not 400 pounds with the crap I ate. I'm just good genetics, I guess. And I thought I felt good. And then I had my hysterectomy and I was like, oh, I feel better. I want to continue this trend. And so I got a personal trainer. And the day I started with her, I haven't had a Mountain Dew in almost 2 years now. Which is, I had one sip of one a few months ago, and that was it. But you don't realize how shitty you feel until you don't feel that shitty anymore. Because that was my norm, is sleeping crappy.
Yeah.
Waking up, and okay, I wake up and still have coffee every day, but just consuming so much sugar and just processed food, which I'm not against processed. Obviously, I eat Uncrustables and Rice Krispie treats every day.
It's really hard to avoid,
Yeah.
non-processed food.
But I eat all that shit every day.
Yeah.
But you have to pick and choose your battles. And you don't realize how bad you feel until you change something and start feeling better. Like, I thought I felt great. And then once I started working out, I'm like, wait, I feel a little bit better now. I'm going to add this. And it's been a slow process, but I'm probably the healthiest I've ever been now. I just think people don't realize how much better life can be when you take your health seriously.
I also have very good genetics. Like, it's very hard for me to gain weight.
Must be nice.
And it is. I also just don't be eating all day, you know? Like, I don't just be eating empty calories all day. Like, certain things that you can easily do to stop gaining this kind of weight. And, I mean, it's just, it's just hard, you know? It's hard that we're living in a time where people are that obese. Like, that's insane.
And who's to blame? Like,
not even 100 years ago this existed.
Right.
Like, if you, like, we're just entering into a whole different era of human experience.
What's that cartoon where all Americans are all humans, like float and they're fat? Wall-E? Is that the cartoon, the movie?
I haven't seen that one.
Where all the humans are just
I see
massively obese and they just float around in recliners and eat all day. The machines do all the work.
And, you know, I mean, there's a lot that goes into why you could why people are experiencing that. If they're experiencing obesity, it's a high likelihood that your parents are obese, you're born into it, and the cards are stacked against you. So I'm not like sitting here pointing the finger saying like, how could you fucking end up being that fat?
Right.
But what I'm saying for me is like both my parents, they were always fit, still are, and so I come from a family that's like that. So for me, that's just not a possibility for me to ever get that big. But that's not me saying I'm better. I just want to be clear on that.
Right.
But I also
Just the hand you were dealt. I mean, it's genetics. It is.
But I couldn't like.
You're not predispositioned. Is that the right word? To that.
Yeah, exactly.
To obesity. My parents were not. They were not obese at all. Neither of them. My father, ironically, died of diabetic-related symptoms, things. He ran the full gamut of everything that could go wrong being diabetic. He did those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were never obese. I thought how I grew up was normal, right? Because we touched on this the other day, where you think the way that your childhood is how everyone's childhood was, right? Like my mom made us breakfast every single morning from scratch. Like we barely got cold cereal was like a prize. Like we were really good. So we got cold cereal, and she packed our lunch every day in our little lunch boxes. And we had dinner every night at a table, all four of us, mom, dad, brother, and me.
That's amazing.
And I just thought that was normal.
Yeah.
And she didn't pack like crappy lunches. They were PB&J most of the time, but on like whole wheat bread with fresh fruit on the side, carrot sticks, like 35 cents for milk. And as a treat, we would get like one Hershey's Kiss. And I just thought that parents fed kids because we were fed, and that's not the norm. And so it's wild to me to see how everyone has a different experience, but as a child, you don't realize that your experience is so much different than everybody else's. At least I didn't, not until I was an adult.
Yeah.
But my house growing up was also like the safe house because my parents were still together, and a lot of people on the block, were either single parents or whatever, and they always came to our house because we were the safe place. My dad was always home. There was always more than enough food to eat. We had cable. We had MTV, which is a big thing, and air conditioning, and Mountain Dew.
And Mountain Dew.
And Mountain Dew. The Mountain Deezy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're at 17 years at the sandwich shop, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a major accomplishment.
Thank you.
It's a long time to have a restaurant.
I love what I do. I love my customers, but I'm ready for the next challenge.
Yes. That is one thing. Do you want to bring that up? Your idea, or do you want to hold off on that? We can do it later, another time when you get going on it.
I don't know when it's gonna get going.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Maybe we wait then.
Okay.
If you're not ready to share the idea publicly.
I'm ready to share.
All right. Well, let's share it. Let's see what's your next idea.
I just want to open a gym.
Yeah, but you have a specific idea of what you want the gym to be.
I do. So when I started, apparently I do this with my hands a lot. I need to sit on my hands or something. When I started going to and this is the same for most people who are new to working out, especially introverts, it's hard to go to the gym. It's hard because there's so many people everywhere. Then most people who go to the gym look really good because they go to the gym. And when I started going, I went at 5 a.m. so no one would see me. And I know a lot of women my age. Let's be real. I'm a middle-aged woman at this point. So there's a lot of people who don't want to go to the gym because they're embarrassed or they're afraid they're going to do things wrong, blah, blah, blah. They don't want to be judged. I would love to open what I would consider a private training facility. So where women can go and men can go on with a trainer and work out without the public being there, basically. And have all the basic equipment, free weights, like a squat rack, benches, all of that stuff. But they wouldn't have the hurdle of worried about being judged by everyone watching them, which in reality, people aren't watching you. They don't give a shit. They really don't. But I know a lot of people I know don't want to go to the gym because of that. they're willing to hire a trainer, but they don't want to go places like that because
Yeah.
they're not comfortable in their environment. So if I could provide a semi-private space for that, I like to say it's kind of like Curves, but not at all like Curves. Do you know what Curves is? No, you're a man, so it makes sense. So it was basically, I don't know if they still exist. We used to have one on Wellesley. It was basically a gym that did circuit training. The windows were all frosted, and it was driven towards basically really obese people. And you would go in and do half an hour circuit training. And they blocked out all the windows so nobody could look at you, so people can peer in and watch you do what you're doing. And they really pushed the privacy aspect. And I'd kind of like to do something like that to get people to have a positive gym experience in the beginning. Because nobody is perfect when they start. Your form's going to suck. You're not going to lift heavy. You're going to do so many things wrong. But that's part of the process.
Yeah.
And people don't want to fuck up in public. And I get
Yeah.
that. I was the same way. That's why I went really, really early when no one was around. Because I didn't want anyone to see that I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I would love a small facility to kind of break down that barrier of entry for people to discover lifting in a healthier lifestyle the way that I have. It's great.
Like almost a way to like get them going, get them comfortable, get them ready, and then you like now
It's like
you
those
can
little wingy dinghies you put on kids in the
you
water.
can still train here, but you're comfortable enough to go to an open gym and work out whenever you want to as well. It's a good idea.
And it's just a way to get them out there. It's that barrier of entry. I mean, it held me back for years. I didn't know what to do.
It's I mean, it's hard at the gym even when you in shape of like thinking about other people's judgments and different things that come along with it.
Yeah, and
know.
you go to a big gym. Like Move has 20 million. I don't know. I don't know how many people go to Move. I've never been to Move, but just so many people.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
I go to Planet every once in a while, and that's still too many people for my liking. It's just, and everyone's ego lifting there. I feel like they're trying to set off that lunk alarm, but
Yeah, it's so weird that they have such a thing.
and they give pizza out like once a week or something like that.
Pizza?
Yeah. I know, because naturally I still have a membership there, even though I haven't gone in 2 years.
Yeah.
I like to pay someone's salary, apparently.
Well, I mean, new gym idea is cool, and you were thinking of doing that in the Garland area.
Yeah, I just love the
that would be
Garland
the-
district.
That'd be the move.
I think we also need a gym in the Garland district.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a Planet Fitness and there is hardcore, but I would love to have a really small community gym.
But those aren't really in Garland.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're close. They're within 5
close,
minutes.
but they're not in Garland.
And with all the new apartment buildings going up.
Yeah.
So there's I think, I don't know the exact numbers. I want to say about 80 units between the two new developments that'll be done within the next 2 to 3 years. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if I could create, and I have a few places in mind in Garland. There are some businesses that their leases are coming up in the next couple of years. So I just want to pile away money and just wait for the opportunity and just do a small community gym. I like the name Agora. I don't know. What do you think of the word Agora?
Agora.
Agora. Do you know what Agora means?
I don't.
It means community in Greek.
Agora. Agora gym.
I know, but then it kind of feels like agoraphobia. Or maybe Gym Agora. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm leaning
We
towards
need to
that
play-
word.
I think, yeah, I don't know. At first, Agora, it could work. Feels a little heavy though, like
Does
a
it?
little like
A little
to
dark.
me. Yeah, maybe dark because gore is in it. The
valid
sound
point.
of gore is in it.
And it makes me think of what is it, agoraphobia?
I don't know what that is either.
It's the fear of germs. It's like those people who don't leave their house, I believe.
Yeah, that probably isn't fitting for a gym either.
Just talking my way out of this right now, this
Yeah.
name idea.
It just sounds a little, yeah.
I just
But
want
maybe
something
there's
community-based.
a way you can play with that word to make it work. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
And then I also just thought of if it's on Garland, going with the Garland theme, like call it just the gym on Garland.
Yeah.
Just like I'm the Garland Sandwich Shop,
Garland Sandwich Shop, Garland Gym.
which really confuses a lot of people because there's so many things called named Garland XYZ. So people get really confused when they're looking for things, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just something I want to do. I want to explore. I'm ready for the next challenge.
Well, you don't, like you said, you don't love sandwiches, but you love working out. Mm-hmm. And you've obviously have figured out a way to run a business for 17 years.
Why not bring the two together?
So, yeah, whatever that is. But I mean, this one obviously sounds like a lot more in alignment with your passion and your lifestyle and what you actually love.
And I'm doing more and more research because obviously restaurants is all I've known. Like I've worked in restaurants since I was 14, 15 years old. Started at like Taco Time and Burger King, even before I got my license. And we served in community kitchens growing up with my parents. We volunteered as a family. And so it's what I know. But it's just, I'm not over it, but I want a new challenge. And it would be nice to have a business where I don't rely on inventory, if that makes sense, especially inventory that's going to go bad within 3 to 5 days. Mm-hmm. I'd rather focus on service as opposed to a product. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got 3 years to figure it out. I gotta bring the sandwich shop to 20 years.
Yeah.
I gotta do it. Like just in the back of my mind, I'd be like, yeah, 20 years, 2 decades. Mm-hmm. What? And it's wild because there's people who started coming in when they were little. And now they're married with kids. And they're like, yeah, I remember coming here when I was a kid. I'm like, how old are you? Like, I just wanted to bring my kids here for the first time. I'm like, you're 12 and a half. And in reality, they're like 30.
Yeah.
And had been coming in since high school.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, about 15 years.
Yeah, that's about, I mean, like when I first went there, I was 20 or so. Not even. Like 18, 19, yeah.
You just a young buck.
Yep.
Just a young puppy. Mm-hmm. It was that long ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're what,
I
30?
graduated 07. You opened in 08. I was probably living, well, no, let's see. I guess I was a little older. I was probably like 22 when I lived up there. So 22, 23 maybe.
It's so wild to me. So wild. I mean, some of my customers are going through their first divorce already.
Hey.
Like they met their significant other, got married, had kids, now they're getting a divorce. It's like I've seen all the seasons.
That's how it goes.
I would say the saddest part is we have a lot of older customers that, let's be real, probably shouldn't be driving, but they live on their own. And coming to the shop and seeing me and I call them my girls, my employees, my staff, is like the highlight of their day.
Yeah.
And so it's really sad when they don't come in for a while and then you learn that they passed.
Yeah.
And this happened recently, and that person's son who lives, in California came up to clear out his dad's house and then stopped in to see us because his dad had talked about us all the time. So it's really cool to have those interactions with people.
Yeah, really being in a neighborhood and
then you don't realize that you might be their only interaction.
Yeah.
Because they live alone. They have no kids in the area. So no wonder they come in. And sometimes they can be a little annoying. But it's like,
they want to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
But when we're busy, it's kind of rough. But it's nice to know that we're loved. And I hope they feel loved.
Yeah.
Because they could be going to McDonald's and just getting that cup of coffee and whatever and just hanging out, but instead they're hanging out with us. And I give them some witty banter. Got to flirt with the old men too; they love it. Keeps them spry. Oh, there is a part of me, and I'm totally taking this from the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds, where he's talking to the old man, and the old man blames everything on being senile, on a senility, and it's like I can't wait to be old and tell some stories and say some shit and have kids be like, what? Because no one thinks these old people have done shit.
By the time we're that age, I don't even know what planet we'll be living on anymore.
And it's going to be so different because our craziness was not documented,
Yeah.
which was
not like,
great. Like
not-
we were out
not
just
like
in
it is now.
fields
Yeah.
drinking with bonfires
Mm-hmm.
with no cell phones, not even a map quest.
Yeah.
Like, how are we getting home? I don't know how we survived, but
We did it. We're here.
I have all my fingers on my toes.
Yeah. Thanks to whoever sewed your finger on. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was
Just
awake when
did
they
what
did
you
it
sewed
too.
on. Yeah.
My dad had to hold my legs down. My brother sat on my chest, hold me down.
Dang.
Yeah, still remember. No bone in the tip of that thing. That just flesh.
It just
No bone in there.
for real.
Yeah, there's no bone in the tip of the finger.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Trippy.
She's a little wonky, but she gets the job done.
Yeah, she must.
She's still
Still
there.
whipping up sandwiches.
Nah, I pay someone to do that.
You don't make any yourself?
Not really.
Oh.
Sometimes. I made your guys's.
Thank you. They were very good.
Thank you. No, I do. And I do all the prep in the morning, too. That's kind of my me time other than the gym. Pop on a podcast and just slice all the meats.
All right. Hey, this is City Chapters Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby J. This chapter has been with Kristen Speller from the Garland, not garlic, the Garland Sandwich Shop. And we'll have her links to her socials and all that and her website for the menu. I had the Chipotle sirloin. That was fire. Panini.
Fire.
It was
fire.
fire. And
Bless
Brennan had the Big Dill. I had a little bite of it too. I kind of bit his Big Dill. So anyway, we're gonna close it up
4
with
inches,
that.
sir.
And
4 inches.
he actually has the Big Dill peeking out back there right now. I see. I might go have a bite. All right, we're out of here. Till next time.